Right, I'm going to deploy a Lambda function. I'm going to create a new function. My new function. This is going to be a .NET function because I'm a .NET developer. I need a role. I need some other configuration. Okay, I need to create this function. Now I want to add some application code. How do I actually go about doing that? Oh man, this is painful. Okay, I need to upload a zip file. Where do I get this zip file from? Oh, and wait, then I need multiple Lambda functions that are all hooked up to the same API endpoint, and I need a DynamoDB table. There's got to be a better way, surely. And that's what you're going to learn in this video. You're going to learn there is a better way to deploy your .NET Lambda functions. It is not clicking around in a console. It is not writing YAML. It's not learning some arbitrary new random syntax to deploy a thing. No, we're going to deploy your .NET functions using .NET. Sounds cool, doesn't it? Let's get into it. And we're going to do that using the AWS CDK. The AWS CDK, our Cloud Development Kit, allows you to define AWS resources using a programming language that you are familiar with, which is very useful for us .NET developers. You can install it using npm install-g AWS CDK. That will install the CDK CLI on your machine. And from there, you can go CDK init app --language equals C#. Do this in an empty folder. This is going to scaffold you a brand new AWS CDK project. What you will get there is you will get a program.cs, which is simply the entry point of your CDK application, which will create a new stack. A stack is equivalent to a CloudFormation stack in AWS, which is AWS's infrastructure as code service. This stack is just a class that inherits from this stack base class. This just tells the CDK that this code in this class is equivalent to a stack in AWS CloudFormation for managing your infrastructure code and managing the state, importantly, of your infrastructure as code. The first benefit of doing this is that you get all the benefits of an IDE. If I want to create a new SQS I can create a new amazon.cdk.sqs.q. All of the classes, you get IntelliSense, you get all of the benefits of a programming language, and all the resources are pretty helpfully named. If I want to create a new SNS topic, guess what? The class is called topic. I create a new topic, pass in a scope. The scope simply says that this AWS resource is part of this stack, this CloudFormation stack. Every resource you need a uniquely identifiable ID, and then every resource will have a set of properties that you have to set. You get compile time checking, you get IntelliSense, you get all the benefits of using an IDE and a common programming language. And what we're going to do here is we're going to generate a fully functional CRUD API, a API gateway, 3 Lambda functions for the 3 different endpoints, and a DynamoDB table. And the first thing you'll notice here is we're defining our DynamoDB table. We create a new table, and these are the only properties you actually need to set. One of the things that CloudFormation and the CDK will do is if you don't give something a specific name, it will auto-generate a name with a randomly allocated identifier at the end, which is really useful for multiple developers all using the same stack. We then need to actually define our Lambda functions. Now, .NET is kind of interesting because you need to compile the code before you deploy it. As you saw in the console at the start, you need to upload a zip file that has your compiled .NET application in it. Historically, this was kind of painful. Now, not so much. You can add a new package to your CDK project, this amazon.cdk.aws.lambda.net. This gives you some custom resources inside your CDK project for compiling and deploying .NET Lambda functions. So you'll notice the next thing I define here is this new .NET function. And all you do with this .NET function is simply point it at the project directory of your actual Lambda function project. So here we've got this items API. This items API uses the Lambda annotations framework. And the actual application code here just does 3 endpoints for get all, get single, and create. So all we need to do is point our .NET function with the project directory at the folder that contains the CS proj for our actual Lambda application code. We then also need to define the handler. The other benefit of using the Lambda annotations framework is that you get this serverless.template, which is an auto-generated file that you can use to actually grab the handler string, which is very useful. A few other default things we need to configure, the runtime, the memory size, any of that. But we can create this .NET function class, which at the point we actually deploy the CDK code is going to go off, compile, package, do everything it needs to do to get our application code compiled and ready for Lambda. The next benefit of the CDK is handy little bits of syntax like this. I need to give my Lambda function permissions to access my DynamoDB table. Historically, you might have hacked around with IAM policies, trying to find the right IAM poll, the right magic incantation of actions and policies that give a thing permissions. Now you can simply just say table.grant And I can grant full access, read only, read write, stream read, only write, no read. And this same applies for lots of different resources. For the functions themselves, I can say get all items dot grant invoke, and I could grant invoke to a specific resource. SQS queues, I can grant publish and grant receive. You've got this really handy bit of syntax that allows you to really quickly build up your permissions using only the permissions that you need to without needing to worry about IAM policies and YAML and JSON and all that craziness. And then we need to actually define our API. So there's a plethora of different ways to build APIs in Lambda. I've gone with the very basic resources here. We create a new HTTP API. We create a new stage for that API. And then we need to actually add quite a bit of different stuff. We need to create an integration, which is an integration inside API gateway that integrates our API with our Lambda function. We need to add permissions to our Lambda function to allow API gateway to invoke our Lambda function. And then finally, we need to actually create the routes on our API. So we need to create a route on our API for post to items, which actually maps to the integration we created above. And with all of this stuff defined, I can navigate back into my terminal. And if I was to run CDK deploy, that would actually go ahead and deploy that application. I'm actually going to run CDK synth, which will actually just synthesize a CloudFormation template from the .NET application code, just so I can show you what happens. And you can see it's going off now. It's actually compiling the .NET application code. Did that very quickly, compiled the code, and then output here is the actual CloudFormation template for deploying these actual set of resources. So it compiled the code, it generated the template, and if I had run CDK deploy, it will have automatically pushed that up to AWS. One final tip for you though. The real benefit, actually, in my opinion, that comes from using something like the CDK. There's all of this complexity we had here for creating the API, creating the integration, adding the right permissions, adding the routes. We can actually simplify all of that using custom classes. Here I've created this API.NET function class that inherits from that base .NET function class. And I can pass in some additional properties to the constructor here, namely the API, the root key, and then the region, the account that I want to deploy into. I can inherit from the base class, which will still run all of that compilation at the point of deploy, but it also means I can centralize all the configuration for actually hooking up this Lambda function to an API endpoint. Now all of this can happen in here, and I don't actually need any of this duplicated code inside this main stack. All of that can simply replace, at least for this get all items function, which is up at the top here, with this single snippet of code here. It's still very similar. I'm creating an API.NET function now, still passing in the project directory, the handler, the runtime, the memory. Down at the bottom here, I just need to pass in my API, my root key, my region, and my account. So because we are just writing .NET code, you can codify best practices, you can codify common constructs, you can codify common ways of building things. Now, if you need to create 10 Lambda functions with the same configuration, you can do that. Create a custom class, a custom library, push that to your internal package registry, and you've got this set of custom constructs that are built specifically for your specific use cases. Always need to hook a dead letter queue up to a queue, build a construct for that. You can use loops, you can use conditionals, you can use abstractions, you can do all the things you would want to do with actual application code, but instead you're doing that to define your infrastructure. So whether you were clicking through consoles, you were using terminal windows to deploy individual Lambda functions and then hook them all together, whether you were writing some random syntax that doesn't really feel like a programming language, I'm looking at you, Terraform. Now you have the ability to both write your application code and the code that deploys that application, all using the same language. Nothing else to learn, .NET all the way down. It's a wonderful world if you ask me.